Hey folks, Sandy here, and I was actually thinking the other day, nowadays in a lot of ways, it's incredibly difficult to be a professional guitarist. And one of the reasons why it's so hard is because nowadays you have to wear all the hats. Way back when, you'd get signed by a record company or a label or something, and they'd have an entire team who would be doing things for you, and you could just focus on playing your guitar. That's not how it works nowadays. So with that in mind, here are 7 different non-musical skills that you're going to need to develop if you want to be a professional guitarist. The first one I'm going to talk about is marketing skills. The fact of the matter is that you are trying to get people to listen to your music. They're not going to know who you are. They're not going to want to listen to your music unless you have convinced them that they want to, which in essence is marketing. The entire point of marketing is taking your product and putting it in front of people and convincing them that they want to consume it. Well, the only way you're going to do that is if you develop some serious marketing skills. Number 2, you're going to need to develop some business skills. Money makes the world go round, okay? That's a fact. And everything has a budget. I mean, even this YouTube channel. I am operating this on a budget. It is completely self-funded, but I do keep a spreadsheet because I have to calculate, okay, this is the equipment I need. This is what I can get out of it. It's all business skills, okay? So learning how to manage finances as a musician is critical if you're going to be successful. Number 3, and kind of related to the last 2, you're going to have to develop some serious people skills. Here's the fact. People in the music industry, they're kind of weird. And guess what? You have to figure out how to get along with them. You have to figure out how to work with them. Same thing with bars, restaurants, that sort of thing. Some of the folks who work in those places, they're a little odd. Well, they're your bread and butter. So the fact of the matter is you have to figure out how to work with them. You have to figure out how to negotiate with them. And yeah, or even in a band for that matter. How many times have you heard about bands that have broken up because the people couldn't get along? It's because they're lacking in people skills. So people skills, it's something you're going to need to develop. A 4th skill that may seem kind of obvious the minute I say it, but it has to do with driving. All right. The fact of the matter is you're going to have to travel. You're going to have to go places, even if it's just to and from the local bar. You're going to have to figure out how to drive there. You're going to have to figure out how to navigate there. Okay, and some car skills, some car mechanic skills probably aren't going to hurt. I've never personally found myself on the side of the road after a gig, but it's come close. So having some knowledge of what to do in that kind of situation, not a bad idea. Now, another skill that I haven't really talked about yet that also kind of ties into some of the other ones actually has to do a little bit with acting. Keep in mind, there is so much, music and visual media at this point are really tied together. Look what I'm doing now. I'm on YouTube, I'm talking to a camera. So part of it is you actually kind of you got to learn a little bit of how to act, okay? So like YouTube, this might seem sort of obvious, and I can tell you right now, a lot of the YouTubers that you've seen online, that's not their actual personality, okay? They are putting forward, to an extent, a character. I was actually watching a wrestling documentary about, like WWE, that sort of thing. And they were saying that the best characters are when you take your own personality and you turn it to 11. Well, I think a lot of guitarists could probably do the same thing. That seems to be what they do anyway. And the other part, like with acting, like learning how to speak to a camera, learning how to speak in front of a crowd, it's a skill in and of itself, and I have no problem admitting to you that I'm still developing it. This is still kind of new for me, so I'm still figuring it out. And thanks for bearing with me. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. Now, the 6th skill that you're going to have to develop that has absolutely nothing to do with playing the guitar is graphic design. Okay? You're going to have to design posters. You're going to have to design album covers. Even just the clothing you wear. Okay, I don't know if that would necessarily call into graphic design, but there's overlap there. That's all I'm saying. Okay, you need to know how to put things together. Okay, Photoshop, not a terrible idea. There are quite a few different software nowadays that you can use. All right, I'll be honest, I use Canva for a lot of the thumbnails. All right, that's helped me out a lot. But yeah, learning how to design things, that artistic flair, it's a skill in and of itself, and it can make or break you. And the final skill that you're going to have to develop as a guitarist is digital and technical skills. Now, granted, there's a little bit of overlap with this skill and like graphic design where I mentioned, using Photoshop, that sort of thing. But I mean, when I'm talking about graphic design, I mean just, having an eye for what, colors and stuff go together, that sort of thing. Okay. Digital skills, whole other ball game. You're going to have to learn how to use software. You're going to have to learn how to use recording software. You're going to have to learn how to use video creation software. Something admittedly that I've been developing over the past year. This is not easy, okay? It's a brand new skill set that has absolutely nothing to do with playing the guitar. But if you want to be successful, that's some of the stuff you're going to have to develop. Anyway, folks, these skills might sound a little intimidating, okay, at first, for a lot of people who just, I just want to be a professional guitar player. I want to play my instrument and have people listen to me. And I get that, and we were all there, okay? But that said, I also think most of these skills, frankly, they're just things you're going to have to develop when you want to work even just in a regular job, in the first place, okay? I have a regular 9-to-5. My company is constantly requiring me to learn how to use new software, and half of it's a pain in the rear end. All right? I constantly have to develop people skills to form business relationships, that sort of thing. Okay? Most of this stuff is just kind of part of the workforce nowadays. It's just how it is. So, I think for a lot of guys, this is just kind of part of it. I just think with music, it's a part of it that you don't necessarily immediately consider. Okay? Anyway, Sandy from Sandy's Guitars. I hope you found this list entertaining, enlightening. Let me know what you agree with. Let me know if there's any skills that I completely forgot about, okay? Leave that in the comment. I'd love to hear from you, okay? I'm sure there's some I've missed, okay? But yeah, this is Sandy from Sandy's Guitars. Like, share the video. Please hit that subscribe button. I am trying to build this thing up. And yeah, keep practicing. You're getting there. Take care.